Next on the agenda is Versie Sims. Welcome back, Versie.
Thank you. Well, we're back talking about water again. Can you imagine water, water, water? After the last meeting and the count and everything, there just seemed to be so many concerns about our water project. And I decided to go online and pull a copy of their application. And see, wasn't online. All the other projects are online. So I went to infrastructure. Make a long story short, I had to pay for the application. This is the application. It was over 500 pages, so I couldn't make you a copy. And in going through that, I tabbed that many things that concern me. And I'm certainly not an expert. And you know what? We have waited for so long for water in that area. It's had a project number since 1997. And it went, so I just picked out 3 or 4 things that I would like to just kind of cite as problems that I see that maybe I'm wrong, I hope, but I just think, and first is the count. I can cite probably 100 times in here that it's 350, and there's permits to back it up. There was the Alcohol Bulger is 259, there's the Spurlocksville that's 59. That equates to 348. Now, in 2009, when we got the DEP money, that was for the Mud River. There certainly should have been an addendum for that section for Upper Mud River downstream of the mines from the dam up to the mines, and that's 50 residents. So that would be no more than 400. So you take the 80% of that, and that's enough said about that. I think we really need to look at that and address it, because there's only the discrepancy in the count cited a couple of times where there is a Thrasher insert, which doesn't seem to be a part of the application submittal, but maybe it is, I don't know, but it certainly was not a part of the entertainment by infrastructure. And when I met with infrastructure, they said everything was based on 350, and 350 it was. So that was why when I presented that letter at the last meeting from the Public Service Commission, that is why the pro forma, and it went back to the Public Service District, because your revenue was costed on 350 count. The cost of the project was on the 471 or the 500, whatever number they're using. So that's going to throw it out. So that's a big concern.
The application that was submitted is 350.
350, that's correct, and the revenue was based on that figure. So then we move to the contract or application, preliminary application was revised. It was moved from the original project number 558. It became 1186. It was originally 2000-558, became 2010 1186, and that was solely to utilize the underrun money of the Griffithsville project. And that was originally $1,168,580, but they cited about 5 or 6 things that needed to be done at the Public Service District, and when the smoke cleared away, there was going to be $204,301 that was going toward the alcohol project. So states, but in the funding scenario in here, that $204,000 is not in here. So that seemed a little
$204,000 that was from the
underrun money of Griffithsville.
Was supposed should be shown in the.
Well, that's what the Public Service Commission says in this.
And it should be shown on the alcohol.
You would think it'd be in the funding scenario, but it's not a part of it.
So, yeah, the ones I've always seen, once you have a funding scenario, it identifies all funding.
And it does, there's about 5 funding sources of that, but that's not one of them, so that was a concern. So then, the next big thing that I had was the DEP, the application for the project. We were already in sign-ups that had gone for how long? On January the 28th, which was 2 weeks after I addressed the commission the last time, that's when the application was filed, was created and filed. On January 28, 2013. There's been a lot of action on it since. It's a 3-page. But what I found most troublesome, on 3/20/13, there was an application resubmitted. I think that's a concern.
Application for what? For this project, the whole project?
For the, right. There was 2. There was one existing, which was Alcoa. That was number WVR 101537 was the existing permit. The new one was filed in 13 was WVR 106477. Then in the process of that, looking at that, there was a monitoring report that just smacked me right in the face. Because in all of this, there's a monitoring report on 6 tanks. Everything in here is 5 tanks. And it included a map. And there is a tank at Alcoa, which is nowhere here. And I don't know if that's a problem for our project, if that's, I don't know. So with having said this, I respectfully ask that the commissioner that represents our area talk with the Public Service Commission, the district, the Infrastructure Council, because we do not want to lose our funding and lose our project. There was a non-appealable order in here that was for 6 months. The project was approved, I believe, on 8/2 through Infrastructure Council. 8/2, 6 months, you've got trouble. Now, I'm sure that that can be appealed. I don't know if that can be appealed. But as residents, we would like to see these doubts erased and make sure that our project doesn't, again, get killed or sideways. So I would like to respectfully ask that the commissioner representing us get involved in this and see that we don't become the loser again.
Give it to me.
What we'll do then, I don't think that requires a motion from us. I mean, I think if Commissioner Matthews would want to do that, that'd be up to him, and he could report to us his findings, and then we could go from there.
Okay.
Because I think it takes someone from over there that, understands the geography and things like that. We want to make sure, and I know this concerns you a lot, Darcy, and I think that it concerns everyone over there that wants water, and we want to make sure that, we're doing everything the right way to get that done. And but it would be my notion if Commissioner Matthews wanted to go to the PS and review this with them as far as then he can bring that back to the commission, and we'll review his findings and talk to him about what the PSC said,
Okay.
and then go from there. That way, because I want answers for all those. We need to know where we're at on all that, and it may just be, I don't know. I know we went through projects before. We've changed projects as we've gotten into them to increase the numbers of households served and things like that. And I think that's fine as long as it doesn't affect the funding scenario to the point where we can't be funded.
Well, you know what? Nobody can get water until the base project covered your main road. And that's what it should be. And you do addendums and put the others in and include them, but if you kill the base project, then nobody's going to get water.
Well, we don't want to kill any projects, and I think that's the reason we need to really look and make sure we're doing things okay. I know when we originally went and got the monies from the settlement on the mines and things, and they put that in there. I know there was a problem because I think they would only let us use it on that portion of the.
And that still is. That's a stipulation.
And so I know we had to look for monies to do the part that gets to that, to keep that monies for that area.
And that is there. The funding is in place.
Okay.
It is.
Well, that's what I want to make sure of. I can remember that part of it, that did happen, but we could only use that monies that from the settlement on the
Right.
Mud River area that it was, that was affected by the selenium or whatever it
Right.
was they had that on.
I do have this on a disk and I downloaded to flash drive, and anybody that would like a copy of this, give me the email and I'll be glad to email it to you.
And I guess I'd be certain I have time, and for me as a project, I'd certainly be willing whenever Mr. Matthews wants to go up there, I'd be glad to go visit.
Well, I think, you know, because historically you've been involved in it too, that maybe you'd have answers to some of those questions that might be brought up.
Well, I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Yeah, is that all right with you?
That's fine.
So-
I'll look at it.
So,
He's got the skills, I'm sure.
well, and I think that's the key is, you know,
You
we,
got the skills to look those numbers.
yeah, we, you know, that's one of the advantages we have is that, you know, I think these commissioners all have different strengths and weaknesses. And, but we can use our strengths to try to get these things resolved. And I think that's, you know, I appreciate the work you've done. I know you spend endless hours working on these
Yeah,
things.
anything you want to know about that area, just ask me.
Well, and I think that's why we need to get all the players involved in these type things and sit down and work through this.
And I'm not getting water, remind you that.
I know. But
Thank you very
Darcy.
much.
Can I add a request, since I'm a member of that board? If Commissioner Matthews would also look at the overall operation of the Public Service District. I've been asking for 4 years for copies of the bylaws, I keep being told we have, never been given a copy. I have repeatedly asked for it. I'd like to know if there are bylaws, I'd like to know if there are, what they say. I would like to know whether or not we are governed by the county commission's employment policies relative to things like comp time and vacation time and sick leave and so forth. And so my request is whether Commissioner Matthews would be willing to look at that as well.
Yeah.
I think any of the commissioners, you know, are willing to try to do their best to figure out what's going on with these things and stuff. And I would like to keep that last request separate from what we were just talking about, because I want to, if Mr. Matthews wants to look into that, I think that's fine. I really want to focus on this water project, getting these numbers right there. You know,
We need to be running the Public Service District correct if we're doing a water project. Is that not, I mean, we'll go back to the fundamental of the Public Service District. I would think they're hand in hand.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, we're all committed to make sure that, well, number one, there should be personnel policies, they should be available to you, and they should, you know, you should know those things. So I would suspect that Michael could probably help us with that. I mean, because we don't want any, we don't.
Over and over and never gotten them in 4 years. So it'd be first time.
And this is the thing with any of these boards, any of the PSDs, any of the committees that we have, is that, you know, you all should, all y'all should have the same information. You know, if one of you's come up with different information than the other, then you ought to ask why. But these projects are much too important, and I, you know, whatever the problem is with any of the PSDs or any organization, I think they need to work them out and do the people's work and get these things done. But, you know, I know Versi doesn't get a salary to do what she does, you know, and so I think the only reason she does what she does is because it's what she feels what's best for the people over on Mud River. And that makes a big difference, you know. I mean, someone that's paid to do something cannot do the job very well, or they can do it very well, but someone that's not paid anything that does any kind of job at all, you got to respect their job they do. And Versi does a very good job of this. But as far as Mr. Gregory's request, I think if Mr. Matthews is willing to do that, or check on that, that's fine with this commission. We have no problem with that.
Would you incorporate the board members as well in your investigation?
We want everybody operating under state code, whatever that would be, and whatever it takes to get there. So, we will have, I'm gonna bring this up a little bit later, but we will have someone from the Department of Labor come in here and talk to us about compensation and things of that nature, give us direction on how to handle those type things. And it seems to me it would be best if it was within the state code to do so that we all operate under the same laws. And that's what we want to get to. So it'd be real easy to find out if you're doing the right thing, because you can look at state code, and state code says you do this, and that's what I expect you to do. And nothing else. I mean, you know, really, we want everybody operating under the same rules. And so whatever you guys at the PSD board do, we would expect that to reflect what the state code would have you do. So, and that's where we will be like that on all issues concerning these type things, is that we feel that the state code and our personnel policies have to be enforced, and we are making sure that we have accountability worked into the system to where we can find out if they are or not.
And I add one more thing. I did not ask for an investigation of anybody, any person. I asked for an investigator to look at the bylaws, the policies, and procedures. I'm not wanting an investigation of the manager or anybody else, and didn't ask for that.
All right, that's noted. Next issue on the agenda is personnel issues. I would like to ask the, and I will promise you all, we will not be as long, but I would like to ask the commission if we could go into executive session for a short time.
I'll motion.
Is there a second? I'll second. Okay, we're gonna go into executive session, we'll be back soon. Yeah, you want to?